It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave. It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy B-Gunz here. This is the Green Rush Nation podcast. Today we have a legend in the industry, someone who everyone should know about. He's the creator and owner of Gas Box and Gas No Brakes, our friend Aram.
Guys, thank you for having me, man.
Appreciate you coming out, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Great.
You, Green Rush.
So shit, we'll get right into it, you know? How did you get your start in this industry?
Got my start in the industry really on the streets, just being a consumer, being a connoisseur.
Okay.
Loved weed as a kid. Smoked weed. I didn't start smoking weed with my brother right away, and Serge.
Okay.
And Fidel Shant, he was still a little bit younger too. So
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. They still weren't really like smoking, but I'd smoke with a couple of my homies in Glendale and things like that. We'd be going on cruises in Hollywood and all around Glendale in the valley, you know, just smoking weed in the car.
I was about to say, get some cruises. Yeah.
It was the thing to do back then, you know.
Same here. When I was younger, me and my friends did that a lot. We would just find a place, park up, and the spot was the whip. You know, that was it.
Yeah. And, if you weren't cruising, you would have to know a pretty chill spot, right?
Yeah.
And if you knew a pretty chill spot, you were the dude. You got to roll up over there and just you and the boys, you know, just smoke up and get high as fuck.
Do you remember the first time you got high?
I actually do. It was like at a house party in Glendale, and you know, house parties, how they were in the 90s and stuff like that. It was it was the thing to do. It was popping. Half the school would be out there, and it was really in a thing where like all my friends were doing it, and I just wanted to do it too to look cool. But then it was too good.
Fell in love with it?
Yeah, I fell in love with it right away. It was like the first breath.
Yeah.
Fell in love with the first breath.
For some reason, similar to you, like I just remember seeing everyone that smoked, and I thought it was like a cool thing, and I'm like, shit. But then the first time I smoked, I'm like, how do these people smoke so much? Like I fucking am so high, I couldn't imagine. But now that I'm a veteran smoker, like it was one of my goals to be this that I am now. I'm like, I want to be able to just smoke joints back to back to back and be good to go, like the cool people do, you know? Like, but yeah.
Well, I mean, my time, I'm like a little bit older, so you know, I'm talking about a while back. You know what I'm saying? So people didn't have access to that much weed. You know what I'm saying? So people were running around with like dime sacks and dub sacks, half ounces at most.
And I'm sure it was like trash.
Trash, but like when I think about it now, I mean, the taste was amazing. I can probably never get that chronic type of, you know, terp profile.
Yeah.
That I don't know what it was back then. It was just, you know, people would grow hybrids and they probably didn't even know. So like you weren't really like smoking for strains. You were just smoking because you were able to get weed, whatever weed you were able to get. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, and majority of the people were smoking the same thing. Every now and then, after I started smoking, my friend's sister that would go to school in the Emerald Triangle, somewhere in Humboldt, she would bring down from some weed from some friends of hers at school that would grow personally, and that was probably the best weed I had ever smoked. And like we would beg her to bring some down every time she came down. Yep. But I mean, those were some great times, man.
Definitely. The good old days were the beginning, you know, when shit you still get the giggles and. You remember those
Slant
songs.
Eyes.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Super
saying?
Red, gotta have the Visine, you know?
Yeah.
It was good old days, the good old days. But so obviously you came a long way from just smoking. When was it that you decided, okay, like I actually want to do this for my career and get it and build a brand?
Yeah, basically we, you know, after that we were able, like I was, you know, my brother started smoking weed, Serge started smoking weed. I caught him with a couple of friends, and like, you know, I acted like I was mad, but I like inside I was happy. I was like, fuck yeah. I'm able to smoke with this fool now, you know what I'm saying? So this was pretty awesome for me. Again, Fidel was really young back then, so he again wasn't in the picture like that. And then my dad smoked weed. We knew that my dad smoked weed, and Serge and I would always like steal a little bit of weed from my dad.
I love it.
And like he used to keep it in like the film canisters and stuff, and we would just like, and he would fill it up to the brim, and we would just open it up, shave off the top, and close it. And low-key, he would know what was going on, and he would jam up my mom too. It'd be like, "Yeah, I think the boys are like stealing weed from me and smoking," and she would tell them, "Nah, they don't smoke weed yet."
Yeah.
And again, this is just like basically all my friends, like would want weed, and then I would want weed, and it just became something where I was like, man, I gotta have it around all the time. You know what I'm saying? So as the years progressed and more people were growing it in Southern California, was a lot more involved in growing it. This was like, I would say late 90s, early 2000s. Dispensaries started like popping up.
Okay.
Not recs weren't around like that. Not
Still
everybody had a
medical.
rec. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 100 people knew one person that had a rec, and that person wouldn't, want to like give anybody rec weed like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Did they have limits back in the day too on like how much you could get if you had a card?
Yeah, there was, I believe it was like an ounce or 2 ounces, and then it became a QP after a short time, because
Not too bad.
shops and everybody started, seeing the trend too, and start jumping on it.
Why
You know what
not?
I'm saying, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. That's pretty much what happened. I met a friend of mine in Santa Clarita, and he was like, "Yo, I got my rec, and I'm going to the shops and getting like different variations of weed. Check this out. I have like 3 different strains." I was like, "Whoa!" Like
Yeah.
back then it was either chronic, or if you were lucky, you would have somebody pull up with some OG Kush, and I'm talking like this greasy OG Kush, not like the OG Kush that you saw about 10 years after that.
Yeah.
Like this was greasy, very, very organic. Like I would say like living soil, like soft, you know what I'm saying? Where
Okay.
like it would just turn into dust, white dust, as soon as it was consumed and lit up. Like phenomenal taste,
Beautiful.
phenomenal high. But then this dude pulled up with like a sativa, and then a perp, and then an OG. I was like, oh shit, he's rolling with like 3 different strains. This is pretty fucking cool.
Dope.
And I was like, yeah, where'd you get it? And he's like, he was holding out, and like took a couple of weeks, actually like up to like a month or so, until like he broke it down, because like he got sick and tired of me like jamming him up about it all the time. And then I ended up going down and getting my rec. It was like in 2003, 2004.
Okay.
And I got my medical rec, and it was pretty easy to get.
What a day. What did you have to tell them to get it?
Well, anxiety, sleeping disorder, and
Typical shit.
eating disorder and stuff like that. And they gave it to me.
Beautiful.
And hit up the shops. I remember that when I hit up the shops, like Serge and all my friends and his friends would just want, like, some of them would be like, hey, let me go with you, and we would just go run to the shop somewhere in like Hollywood. I believe it was on La Brea. There used to be the Yellow House. It was like this yellow house, old house, where like it was like one of the first dispensaries, and they had hash, they had edibles, they had everything. And you gotta understand, for like the early 2000s or the mid 2000s, to be able to have that type of variety in Southern California was a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah.
And if you had access to that, you could make good money. And that's
Sure.
And I saw that, and I did. And my homies would send me down to the shop with like, yo, when the limits would get higher, please get me this, get me that, and I just turn a dime on it and then smoke for free. So I was like,
Absolutely.
man, this is pretty cool.
Hell yeah. That's dope.
Cool.
That's cool to see too, because like it was a couple years later that I got involved in the weed game, but like same shit, I it wasn't medically, because there was no such thing as that in New York till just recently. But I would do the same shit, I wanted to have the most strains. I was like, this is cool. Then like everyone wanted to just hit me up, all my friends, because they didn't want to have the convenience of going to get it. So I just would be the guy to go get the shit, bring it back, break it down. Then I was smoking for free, and I'm like, you know what? This is fucking great.
Yeah. It was. And I bet, you said in New York, right? New York wasn't no slap in the wrist. It was pretty bad here too, but it was, you could get away with like doing, a fine or like some community service.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet you would have to do jail time
Definitely.
back then. And
Definitely.
And NY.
As a kid, I almost got screwed because they gave me a UPM, which is an unlawful possession of marijuana.
Yeah, those
And
are-
I didn't even have any flour on me or nothing. They found a fucking bowl.
Oh,
And
man.
I'm like, yo, really? He's like,
Yeah.
but thank God it was just a ticket. This was like at the point where it became that. I thought I was going to go to jail that day. I was like, so I'm not getting arrested? He's like, no, you just got to go to court. He's like, usually they'll put you on ACOD, which they did. And that just means you can't get in trouble for 1 year, and then they'll drop the charge completely, and you'll be good to go. I
Yeah,
was
like Serge and I would go through those all the time.
Yep.
Out here, and it was pretty rough, like I said. But then it wouldn't lead to much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that because I think the city of LA was also seeing the trend, and it obviously got to that point.
Yep.
Pretty early in the early 2000s in Los Angeles. There was a lot of bad times too. You know what I'm saying? Like we would go to dispensaries that we would pull up to, like DEA was raiding it.
Oh,
you
shit.
know what I'm saying? Or like LAPD was raiding it.
Yeah.
As soon as we were like about to go in, or while we were inside. Like I've been in raids before I've owned shops, and I've been raided while owning a shop. So
Yeah.
I've seen.
Do they
both
come
sides.
guns blazing?
Oh yeah, they
Really?
kick doors down.
Wow.
And like the whole nine. They would like do the shouting, harass, and like
For what?
I mean, because they could and
Yeah.
they could get away with it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Policing was a lot different in LA than it is now.
I hear policing in LA was different in general, just in LA.
Totally different.
Yeah.
That's why we had the riots. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think after the cameras were invented, and now they're being held accountable for turning it off or not having it on, or doing things while having it on.
Yeah.
It changes the game. It levels the playing field, and brings a lot more truth to the table.
This is true.
So
This is definitely true.
yeah.
Yeah, fucking A. But so back to the brand. When did you really like get into that side of things, like the business?
Yeah, before the brand though, like I just want to say, like I did open up a dispensary in 2005. I had enough of going to the shops. I wanted to be the shop. So it's just always this level of like, okay, I've already fulfilled my happiness, or my what I can do, and I just want to level up, and I just want to level up to that point. You know what I'm saying?
more.
At that point, I had became friends with the owners of the dispensaries. I would frequent them so much, and they loved me, and so they wanted me around, and that we would want to do business together. And I got into business with one of my high school buddies that had a little bit of money because his parents were a little bit well off.
Okay.
We opened up a dispensary in Eagle Rock on Hazelwood and York, right down the street from Occidental College. It was Hazelwood Patients Collective.
Beautiful.
My first dispensary, 05. I mean, a lot of people weren't even around back then, so I think it's this pretty cool accomplishment to
Definitely.
have, under my belt at that age, at that early stage and stuff like that. And,
Definitely.
But it didn't last, unfortunately. LA was just a different place where they didn't have enough. There was not that many growers in Los Angeles or Southern California in general.
Okay.
A lot of the growers that I knew were also either in like Central California, Northern California, of course, and if you were in Southern California, it was more like San Diego or Orange County.
Okay.
But then I quickly had to like sell my share of my store to my partner because it just wasn't working out. We couldn't see eye to eye with a lot of things. He wanted to, like sell things that were like more of like a accessories and thing based, and I'm like more of a weed head, and I'm like trying to bring in hash and trying to bring in like edibles and flour and things like that, and he was just not having it. So I'm
Vision
like,
in the line. Yeah.
Sold my share, got out, and I took a break. I basically traveled a little bit just to like recoup myself and see what I wanted to do, how I wanted to move. Came back to it in 2007.
Okay.
And started helping out one of my family members that had a dispensary around this area, actually, in near Canoga Park area and stuff in the valley.
Yeah.
And they basically took me under and, like helped me out a little bit while I was kind of like, learning the game of how to navigate through it while there was an abundance of weed now. Back then there wasn't, and things were like lining up now. A lot of the growers started driving down from Mendocino, Humboldt area, and just bringing down a lot of like fire product and, you know, like flooding the shops. And that was like the wave.
Okay.
And I made my way through there. I basically met a couple of growers from Humboldt. I made my way to Southern Humboldt, Garberville, and just, you know, fuck with the homies like that, you know, like start flipping packs, just like 1 pack into 2 pack. And they would, you know, like they would front me one at the same time and come back, and it just like became a box became 2 boxes.
Yep.
We would hit, like Serge and I would basically be driving up to the Humboldt area every other week, or every, like twice a week sometimes.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Just depending on how fast things would flow.
Yeah.
And back then everything was just OG. We would get a little bit of perps. There would be some granddaddy perps that would be a treat every now and then, but you wouldn't, you know, people would want different variations of the OG Kush.
Yeah.
And that's what we were known for, being down like 10 to 15 different variations of OG Kush.
Wow.
Dispensed to a lot of dispensaries all throughout Southern California. And then Serge and I opened up our dispensary in Sunland.
Okay.
Sunland Organic Pharmacy. That's where I think we really blew up and like started becoming a little bit more like of a name. We didn't have like our own brands like that, but the dispensary name itself was
your brand.
Was Weight. Yeah, because I mean we were one of the first ones to basically introduce some of the great prices, the lower prices, because it was people would price gouge with a lot of the prices. So we introduced like 40 to 45 eighths. That was like, you know, all across the shelf, and we would like kill it as far as sales goes, and run numbers. But we quickly got successful and opened up another dispensary down in San Diego.
Okay.
Your Chula Vista National City. Shout out San Diego.
Shout out to them for sure.
Another Southern California city that I hold dear to my heart.
Very nice.
You know, we opened up a dispensary over there too, and started growing in that dispensary too, because we actually had the ability to put up, I believe it was like a 5 or 6 lighter.
Okay.
Just something to like, you know, get our feet wet, because we wanted to start, again, like just leveling up to that point where we can like dispense to our own dispensary.
Do it all yourself, yeah.
Through our own flower.
Yep.
Not having to go up north if need be, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that was like a major shift where we started like seeing that like, okay, well, if we need to grow, we need weed equipment. Let's open up a hydro shop. So we opened up a hydro shop. That's pretty much how we would challenge ourselves. Like we wouldn't want to like just go and buy things from people at that point. We would want to like, we were making enough money to be able to like open up businesses that were related to us, that we knew how to like basically navigate. If you know how to grow, you know, you're going to be able to sell grow equipment.
Yep.
And if you sell grow equipment, you're going to be able to run into a lot of great growers.
It's true.
You know, like my best days of advices for growing and things like that I've received in the hydro shops.
Beautiful.
I would sit there and, you know, people would come by and say, you know, I have such a shitty pull, and, you know, it was so whack, and this is why I think this happened and that happened. And I'd be like, okay, cool. I know what not to do.
Yeah. Yep.
And some guy would come in, and he would actually, because he had a good batch and he's not embarrassed, he'd be like, oh, look what I did. And, you know, this is what I produced. Thank you for the advice and this, that. And you'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, what else did you do? What, you know, he'd be like, well, I did a little bit of this too. And like, that would be, you know, the tips and pointers that you would get to like basically know to do a little bit better than
how to do
what
the
you were
best.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And then every now and then you would get some like, you know, master growers that would come in that would always be silent, but then they would be cool with you because you gave them some great prices, and they'll you know, drop some gems on you.
Beautiful.
You know, and you know, shout out
Trying to keep
all
that
those.
sauce though, you know. Yeah, I get it.
One of the ones I got a shout out to definitely if he watches this, the homie Mike, Yosei Mike, he knows what it is, Yosemite Mike, from Central California, Northern California. He's one of He was one of the top growers, and he still is.
Okay.
He used to come to the shop and drop gems on us on as far as like, what to do and what not to do. And we had some successful harvests because of him.
Beautiful.
And it's the homie.
Gotta love people like that.
Yeah, and I still talk to him till now. He's huge in the industry. He does a lot of things in the East Coast as well. I know you're from the East Coast, so he's always staying busy.
Awesome.
But yeah, all those years of basically that's what cultured us, and that's what put us in the position that we are today. Because a lot of people that I see these days that are just creating these brands just to create it don't have that footwork, don't have any of the blood, sweat, and tears put into it, and the failures that go along with it that teach you. Some of my biggest things that I went through is I got incarcerated right after that.
Okay.
I spent 3 years in prison.
Shit. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I lost everything. I lost the hydro shop. I lost the dispensaries because we got raided.
Damn.
We were paying our taxes. They would cash our checks.
Yeah.
They would use it for firefighting and police and everything like that. But then still got raided.
It's crazy.
And a lot of people were getting raided in LA back then.
Yeah.
We had won a lawsuit against the city of LA, and that didn't sit well with them. We had done a lawsuit with like 10 other dispensaries to basically let us stay and grandfather us into, licensing and stuff like that, because it was like in limbo.
Okay.
So, that was pretty much one of the hardest parts of my life when I got incarcerated and stuff. It took me out of the game. I was looking at life through all the things that I had done. Like I was like, oh shit, okay, this is pretty crazy. Yeah. I gotta get back out there and get to it. But if I do, how am I gonna do it where I don't end up back over here? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's when Serge and Fidel really started flourishing. Serge got heavy in the growing game. Okay. With the homie Big Tuna Mike. Him and Serge started growing heavily, and Fidel got heavy in the hydro game. He started managing the hydro shop that I had left behind, and with one of our other homies, Savan. Shout out Savan too. He basically became a master grower through the hydro shop. Okay. And then started growing himself too. So Serge and Shant quickly just adapted to that. And by the time I had paroled from prison in 2013, both the boys had already, hit the ground running. They had established themselves, and I came out to something pretty nice too. They were able to save me some stuff because I still had some investments going with both my brothers and a couple of my friends. Beautiful. So I was able to set up a grow and get straight back into things. You know what I'm saying?
And this time you took a little bit of a different approach so that you couldn't go
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, that different approach would have been like, less violence. I used to be a really violent person. Okay.
Shit, even smoking all that weed?
Gangbanging and selling weed was what I was into. And that shit is watered down. I don't look into that type of lifestyle anymore. I really don't try to associate myself with some of the stuff that lifestyle has to, come with. It led to a whole lot of nothing. So
usually does.
Yeah. Yep. And you grow out of it. I mean, obviously, some people don't. Some people don't. Some people do. It wasn't the thing for me, and I just leaned more towards the weed and try to, spread good karma and positivity in the world. You know what I'm saying?
That's what the weed industry's all about, I feel. It's all good vibes. Fucking, how could you be mad when you're puffing on some good weed, you know?
Exactly. So, definitely. Yeah. And that's when I think Serge later, so Serge at that point and Big Tuna, they were trying to establish like a bigger legal facility. Okay. Things were about to go legal few years later, but like people were already, you know, the buzz was already on the streets. So you had to get prepared for that. In order for you to get prepared for that, you need to see which city wanted to play ball.
Yeah.
And I think the not a lot of cities did, and all this like, you know, big money was being thrown around to like cities that were offering it. So all the licensing and things like that were already like dried up at a lot of places.
Okay.
And one city that my brother and Big Tuna Mike and Edwin, the homie poker star, they are responsible basically for the opening of Cookies Maywood and bringing Cookies down to Southern California, along with Steve Lobel. Shout out Steve Lobel.
That's huge.
One of my big homies and mentors. Along with Burner. They basically brought Cookies to Southern California and solidified it as a weed brand and not just a clothing brand.
Yeah.
Because Cookies didn't have any type of dispensaries anywhere in California before that. They had tried.
Did they have them other places?
I believe they had tried in San Francisco, but San Francisco was kind of giving them a hard time. So they would, I don't know how they would do it, or if they trapped. I'm sure they did. Yeah. I mean, that trap culture came from Northern California. Yeah. I got nothing but love for Northern California. It's like basically my stomping grounds of how I started in this game. So you know what I'm saying? It showed me the professionalism of this game. Yep. While I was just nothing, before that, loose cannon running around selling weed to everybody.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's just that's basically how we stamped ourselves on the map. We started growing some of the great strains that Cookies, Kenny had provided and
known for, legendary. Name a couple. I know Jigga, you were naming them before. I was like holy
Jigga
shit.
And Kenny had been working on a lot of genetics, like the Gary Payton, the Gelati, London Pound Cake 75.
Okay.
Just to name a few.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All those staples that Cookies Maywood and Cookies was known for back in like 2018 when the legalization came about. Mm-hmm. I mean, it all came out of there. My brother and Big Tuna and I were in the garden, just heads down, just like mastering those, hitting Beautiful. Home runs. Everybody that would want to smoke Cookies, as soon as they would see anybody that would go to the dispensary back then in 2018 and 2019, if they would flip the back and try to see because Maywood had its own SKU, it would have Cookies Maywood SKU on there, and they would know if it didn't say grown in Maywood or this Cookies Maywood SKU, they wouldn't even fuck with it.
Okay.
So it was at that point where we know it was like, oh shit, we're doing something good. We got something hot, you know what I'm saying?
People want the product, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately though, I got ill myself, and I had to come out, and I had to get some surgery for myself. And while I was recovering from my surgery, I was thinking to myself, there's a lot of things that I would love to do, but I'm not able to do it because Cookies had become more of a corporate structure, and you had to follow some rules, and there was a lot of partners that weren't down with the cause, that weren't down with what I had going on and what I had to say. Yeah. And I was more of a silent partner, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And with Serge, and Serge was more of the partner at hand that would be hands-on. I wanted to do my own thing, and I did. I just sat down, and I came up with the motto, with the brand name Gas No Brakes, because that's how I live. It's the thing is, you're either in the car with me and we're smashing, or you're in front of the car outside getting smashed.
Yeah.
And it's not stopping.
Okay.
It's just moving forward, you know what I'm saying? Mistakes can happen, but we're still moving forward. We brush it off. We're going one way.
You live and you learn.
And that's forward. You live and you learn, but we're moving forward. And that's the type of lifestyle that I kind of lead. That's how I move.
So it's not just a brand.
It's
you're really
lifestyle.
about that shit.
It's really about that. And the designs, the Gas No Brake design, I really, the inspiration came from the Jungle Boys. Shout out Ivan and them. One of the best to do it. I mean, those guys were to me, at those times, 2015, 16, 17, those guys were just doing like things that I had never seen online before.
Yep.
You'd get on Instagram and just start salivating from their videos of their plants, their the logos that they would make, the bags that they would create, the packaging that they would create, and then they started like introducing the rosin. I was just like seeing some of that stuff online when nobody was doing it. I'm talking like everybody was scared to even like post themselves smoking a joint.
Yeah.
These guys were like putting their full grows out there.
Wow.
And that was truly, truly inspiring.
I will say New York loved them. Like they sure did.
I mean, everybody loved them.
Yeah.
California loved them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, you got to give credit where it's due. Those guys did things where nobody else did during the time, like I said.
Definitely.
So that was some of my inspiration. And I hit up their designer, Matt Esperanza, the guy that created their logo. And I didn't have much money. He wanted a lot of money. I gave him that lot of money, but I mean, for me, it's either the best or nothing. Like nothing goes into my bags or packaging that I don't approve, that I haven't basically smoked and did my QC on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Quality
saying?
control, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm like the gatekeeper for that. If I don't do it, then who's gonna do it? And I can't just put trash into the bags. So that's basically how it started. Great designs, followed by great QCing of some phenomenal flower, and I have the brothers to do it. So I would hit up either Fidel or I would hit up Serge, and I'd be like, "Yo, what you got for me? What's cooking? You know what I'm saying? What's going on?" And they'd be like, "I got this," and they would be busy in the garden. So I'd be like, "All right, fuck it, let's fucking do it." And mind you, Fidel was already doing that too. I mean, he had branded himself majorly, clothing, everything. And everybody pretty much knows him for the hash holes. You know what I'm saying? Like, a few people were doing the donuts and this, that, but like the person to like really put hash holes into shops and into people's hands, like, and to make profit off of it, I think it was Fidel. So he had already scratched his lane and made it. And I was just like, for me, to be able to, see and get inspired by people close to me like that, that's what made it so nice.
Yeah.
And that's what made Gas No Breaks so good.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So now, like, you have this brand, obviously. What's the biggest thing you do to, like, keep the integrity of the brand? Obviously, you said quality control is a big thing.
You got to stay versatile. What I have now, basically, there's a lot of versions. We do research and developments and stuff on the medium that we grow with, from Rockwell to cocoa, living soil. And basically, that's where it's at right now. We're just trying to see what we have, like some of the hitters that we have that we've made before, that do good with Rockwell, that do good with cocoa, probably reintroduce it with organic living soil and have like different variations of that done in different ways for cost. Not everybody can afford some certain price points.
Yeah.
So like having like different price points with with the same strains, I think that's what we're trying to do as far as like giving people choices and things like that.
Options, for sure.
Options.
That's great. That's awesome.
Smoking on some of the new stuff right now, actually. This is an organic living soil. This is the Syrup by Serge. Phenomenal. In the coming weeks, you guys are going to be seeing this. This would be dropping pretty soon.
Okay.
It's going to be a fan favorite. But today I've brought the Brainbow. Brainbow is actually, like I was telling a couple of the homies over here earlier, a full circle of Gas No Breaks and Surge with Nature's Refined, 17K.
Everything does come full circle.
17K. Like, shout out to the boys, Donnie and Dylan and the T family. I don't want to throw out names, but the T family. Much love to them. This is a brain freeze, and I believe something hit up with brain freeze that was done by Donnie and Dylan over at 17K, and they had fucked with us and we had given them some stuff. They had given us some stuff. So basically, we hit that with the Z with Surge, and it's been a fan favorite. Especially at the Backpack Boy store. They have it all the time. It's something that is a staple at their shop. Everybody loves it.
Yeah.
East Coast, West Coast. It's something new. It's a Z leaner.
Okay.
For me, it checks all the boxes. So I hope you guys like it too.
Of course, I'm sure we will. We're definitely gonna be trying that after this. But obviously, there's a lot of marketing that goes into growing a brand. How did you go about like choosing your team and marketing it?
That's the hard part.
Yeah. Yep.
We have a in-house graphic designer, and that basically fucks with just the family.
Okay.
And basically, I sit down with him. We get high, look at a bunch of stuff, ideas, throw a bunch of ideas around, and I let him smoke the flower, and I let him check out some of the things, and he throws some things my way, and I'll be like, nah, this, that. And basically, we come up with a design, and once the design is in, and the designs are all from my head with what I'm thinking about right now or things that I'm into. Most of them are car related because I'm into cars.
Okay.
By the end of this week, I'm doing a Formula One drop for the gas box, and really, I'm like, this was something we were talking about earlier. I'm really happy to be on this podcast to be able to introduce my new brand that I have, the gas box brand.
Yep.
It's been something quite nice to be able to compete with all these like packaging monsters that are in the game and stuff like that. Like the homie Be Easy, shout out Be Easy. He's one of the dudes that did some of these like great packaging and stuff. But I've had some great bags in the past, and I'm known for my really cool die cut bags and things like that. But I just wanted to accommodate that, or accompany that, I should say, with some great boxes and packaging. So Gas Box is that. It's like a variation of like Matchbox or Hot Wheels. And we don't give no toys though. You know what I'm saying? The only treat that you get inside is the great weed that's inside. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much what's going on. But the Gas Box Formula One Max Verstappen drop will be happening this Friday, and it's going live. It's going fast.
Okay.
And it's almost gone too.
Sick. That's fucking dope. Yeah, I've seen the video that you showed us earlier, and goddamn, it's gonna be some drop. But I like that you said you put like things that you're into at the time into it. Sure. Because I'm a big believer that like if you think some shit's cool, someone else probably thinks it's cool too. So if you put that in, and they can relate to even on a higher level now, Yeah. Besides just the weed.
Yeah. It's sometimes it is like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. So I think that I do it from love. So since I do it from love, and it's like it comes from like. From my mind, and I've thought about it a lot. Some of these things that are things like nostalgia to me from when I grew up. I grew up in America during the 80s and 90s, and it was a hell of a time, to live in America back then. And there was so much of that influence that I see around me, and a lot of people too. You know what I'm saying? From their cultures, from their background. Some of the boys in the East Coast, some of the stuff that they do is just like the East Coast. Food or beverage brands and things like that, so it's pretty cool.
Yep.
I usually relate to like movies and car related things, and that's what it is for me. And what it is it's not just like LCG or anything put into there. You know what I'm saying? Like each time with Gas Box, the thing is it's exclusivity of like 15 to 20 pounds, possibly 25 in the near future if it gets popular enough. But like to be able to treat somebody with a strain or a pheno that we've been working on that they necessarily won't get the chance to see because it might not make the cut if it doesn't make the cut.
Yeah. So
that's how people get to try that.
Okay.
And then we have our staple strains that get to stay on 24/7, like the Rainbow. We've got the Skelly. I've got my Mambas and the White Mambas. That's pretty much the strains that put me on the map. That put Gas No Breaks on the map.
Okay.
Yeah. And that is a strain that was created by Kilo Grown and Cousin Feek. Shout out Cousin Feek from the Bay Area and Kilo Grown. These boys had done the mambas, and I used to trap the mambas. I used to sell the mambas, and until they had a fallout and they didn't want to work together anymore. And I came across the cut, brought it down to Southern California, and it's been 5 years that it's been turning around in Southern California. It still sells. Everybody loves it. Everybody in the world loves it.
Great name.
Yeah.
Great name. Shit, I'm gonna have to try me some of that. I don't think I ever have tried any Mamba, so I'm gonna have to hit you up. But this, even the flavor on it too, like delicious. Like really fucking the terp profiles on it are like fucking, I taste it even after, you know, like in your mouth. It's great.
Yeah. And that's yeah, like I said, that's Surge's syrup. That's a secret sauce. I don't want to put it out there.
Okay.
But you guys will be getting a version of it pretty soon.
I can't wait. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, we have a couple things. Do you think that if it's legalized on a federal level, it'll be a good thing for the industry or a bad thing?
It'll be good and bad.
Okay.
Good in a sense where you're at that point, there'll be no harassment in banking because some of the biggest challenges right now in legal weed is banking.
That's huge.
So
that's
nobody's able to bank correctly, or like you're hopping in between bank accounts and things like that. So
getting
that's
frozen and shit like that. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
And some of the things where like basically if it goes legal federally, there won't be this state to state law bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like
it'll
you
just
could
be
probably
across the board.
Yeah, be able to fly with it anywhere in the States.
That would be a wonderful thing. I would love that.
Anywhere in the States, and I think it'll be across the board as far as like how much you can be carrying on you per state.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it's a tough. A lot of things went bad when weed became legal in California.
Yeah.
But then a lot of good has come out of it too.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? Like it's like blown up to where it is because it gave a lot of people the opportunity to grow things freely.
Yeah.
Without getting hindered by getting raided or things like that. Yep. So like a lot of magic has happened.
Absolutely.
Whenever you're not under that pressure of like, oh my God, am I gonna get raided, or like your genetics getting taken or fucking stomped on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, that's definitely a big problem. Do you think Trump will have a big impact on it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Because
me too.
I think Trump is sick and tired of all these other guys like coming and saying, well, we're going to legalize it, but we didn't.
Yeah.
We just didn't get the chance, or they did have the chance.
False promises.
False promises and things like that. So I think he's a promise keeper in a sense where he'd like to look good, and he's going to do it.
I think so.
I think it will be done during this administration.
I think so too. I think he's going to have a lot less pushback than he did the first time because he's just in a better position. You know, obviously you got to choose the people now. He has experience.
He knows what to do.
Exactly.
Say a second rodeo.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But shit. So obviously, shit ton of strains you guys have made. What's your favorite strain that you've made of all time?
I can't say of all time, but the reason why I brought you the Rainbow is because it's one of my favorites.
That's your favorite?
There's some strains that I no longer make, but they were my favorites. Just it's not a crowd favorite. That's another thing that I do. I let the pack talk and see what it does.
People
know
speak.
What I'm saying? Yeah, people speak, and the people's opinions matter to me. You know, when it comes to flower, not when it comes to talking shit. There's a lot of haters.
Of course.
I just lost my main page on IG like 2 months ago over people talking shit that didn't even know me or never smoked my product, never met me, never seen my product or anything like that, but felt the need to come on and talk shit and expect me to shut up and not say anything back.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work that way, you know?
Of course. Yeah, no, unfortunately, the way of the internet these days, you find that quite often.
Yeah.
People don't know shit. They just love to troll.
Yeah, but shout out to Twitter and Elon Musk. He's been letting me do my shit. He's been letting me say whatever the fuck I want to say.
Freedom of speech.
I've been posting whatever the fuck I want to post.
Yep.
So it's cool. I haven't been censored till now on X. It doesn't hit the same. I'm not gonna lie. Like Instagram has like a little cool feel to it.
Yeah.
It hits a little bit.
Definitely.
And I do miss that every now and then. I made another page. It's growing. It ain't there, but But yeah, I mean, it's X is getting there, and I'm building followers on there every day. I'm getting when you're not censored, and you're able to post with X. It's like basically the more you post, the more it engages your stuff with more people.
Okay.
It allows more people to follow you.
Beautiful.
So as I learned that, as it's been like 4 or 5 months now, I've been gaining followers, like about 100 followers a day on X.
That's great.
That's pretty huge for me because it's some because I saw it's a platform that was a little bit too slow.
Yeah.
That I'm seeing it pick up, and it's exciting because you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket, man. You know what I'm saying?
And Twitter's interesting too because it's not like the other ones. There's like Twitter Spaces and shit you can go in. You can really build like a community on there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's different than the other social medias.
Exactly.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you really want to shine a light on?
Well, all the new projects that Serge and I are working on, those are going to be phenomenal. Some of the new rosin pens and the rosins that we've dropped lately have that's a new thing that we've been doing that lately we have for the past, like I would say, about a year. But you're going to be seeing a lot more of that. You're going to be seeing a lot more concentrates. You're going to be seeing a lot of more gear from Serge and I, a lot more collabs between the brothers.
Okay.
So yeah, that we're shifting into, like, you know, doing business a little bit more together for 2025.
Beautiful.
That's going to be
keeping it in the family.
Exactly.
I love it.
Products used to be in stores.
Okay.
The legal industry, to be honest with you, and here's the thing, I really don't. For me, I dabble in both. You know what I'm saying? So like the legal industry for me, it's good and bad, but it's just not where it's at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a little bit too slow.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the stuff in the legal industry is done just for show.
Yeah.
So until that's been basically, like, some of the laws and things like that have been, like, you know, like ironed out a little bit better, it's a little bit harder to see GNB in stores. We do a lot of pop-ups throughout the year.
Okay.
LA Marketplace is basically the next pop-up that we're going to be having in Los Angeles. That's a pop-up that Fidel runs.
Okay.
And we hold it all across the country and the world. So basically, that's one of the things that's going to be coming up soon in February, that we're going to be there, and a lot of our stuff is going to be available there.
Okay, great.
There's a lot of GNB, gas no brakes, and gas box vendors all throughout the country.
Beautiful.
You know, if anybody needs anything, they're able to, you know, hold it down for them, basically.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
And when it's more traditional than
definitely.
legal.
Where is that event going to be?
LA Marketplace. The address is online.
Okay.
You can find it. Tickets are also available at LA Marketplace. The IG page that Fidel has, he posts it all the time.
Okay, beautiful.
Anybody that wants tickets to that, there's VIP tickets, there's general admission tickets. It's not just Gas No Brakes and Surge and Fidel's. It's basically a lot of heavy hitters from the industry.
Okay,
So,
cool. Awesome. Yeah, definitely want to check those out for sure. Oh, well, shit. We appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me on, man.
Of course. Yeah. Great fucking brand here. Hell of a story. And hopefully, we'll definitely have you back because I'm sure we didn't go over everything, you know?
Sir.
Yep. Beautiful.
Thanks for having me on. Like I said, thank you.
And where can they find you on social medias?
The new IG page is going to be Aram GNB. Like I said, that's probably fresh. So if you don't see that many followers, don't get spooked. It is me, Aram GNB. Yep. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, is Gas No Brakes _. Just Gas No Brakes _. I have the blue sign on there, so it's official.
Verified.
Yeah, we don't have any. We don't have any Telegram. We don't communicate on social media on anything. We don't sell anything on social media.
Okay.
So if you want the Gas No Brakes gear that the homie's wearing today, it's at gasnobrakes.com. You can get your T-shirts, you could get your hoodies, you could get your hats, and we every now and then we do seed drops on there too, so you can find Surge's seeds on there.
That's
as
fucking
well.
dope.
We actually have some of Surge's seeds on there right now, so
go check them out. But that's it today for the Green Rush Nation podcast. Go like, share, subscribe, tell your mom, tell your brother, your sister, your friends. Everyone should know about this. And we'll see you next time.
I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5, shit, get up and leave.